report. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Rex Tillerson finally gone after all these months. Now, I'm sure all of you are sitting there with bated breath because you all remember that Steve Mnuchin and Mad Dog Mattis and Rex Tillerson made a suicide pact, as it were, that if one of them was let go, the other two would also go.
Yeah, psych.
That's right. That's like that thing of like, we'll jump into this quarry with the water on 3. 1, 2, 3, and just one of them goes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
never. I was never the one in the quarry, and not just because
I understand the Mattis thing. I don't understand why it would comfort you to have Mnuchin on that team.
Yeah, like Mattis could be like the one, like, Mr. President, I've killed more innocent people than you could even do mathematically in your addled head. And I'm telling you, we can't drop a nuke on Guam because the guy didn't agree with you that a war with Korea would up tourism. We're not doing it. All right, fine. Mnuchin, what would Mnuchin do?
Well, the idea was that they were all going to leave.
Yeah.
And I guess
Bye, Steve. Lost another Jew.
Right,
whoa,
exactly.
Big whoops.
Yeah, who cares?
No use crying over spilled grape juice.
I could shake a stick and get somebody who committed mortgage fraud.
Yeah, exactly.
Destroyed people's lives. I don't need you.
Wow, a Jew on Wall Street who made tens of thousands homeless. Wonder where I'll find one of those.
Okay, so Rex Tillerson gone. There is some serious question about the timeline for how this came about. Now, the White House is saying that they had told him on Friday and that they decided just to pull the plug today. This is not what the State Department is saying. They're saying something completely different. Now, some people have have pointed out that perhaps this has something to do with what's happening in Great Britain right now, which is that there has been some type of gas attack in a pub in Salisbury, with the attempted murder reportedly. Again, I don't know. Do I believe Theresa May and Corbyn seem to also agree? I don't know. My insight to this stuff: if there was a gas attack in Brooklyn that was supposedly perpetrated by Russian operatives or rogue Russian operatives, I would also not be able to confirm it. But this is what's being reported. And there was this sort of little dance with the White House. So yesterday at 3:15 during the White House press conference, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders has this to say about the nerve agent attack in the UK after being asked.
Will there be any repercussions for Russia from the United States in coordination with its British allies?
Look, we've been monitoring the incident closely, take it very seriously. The use of a highly lethal nerve agent against UK citizens on UK soil is an outrage. The attack was reckless, indiscriminate, and irresponsible. We offer the fullest condemnation, and we extend our sympathy to the victims and their families and our support to the UK government. We stand by our closest ally and the special relationship that we have.
So you're not saying that Russia was behind this attack?
Right now, we are standing with our UK ally. I think they're still working through even some of the details of that. And we're going to continue to work with the UK, and we certainly stand with them throughout this process.
Theresa May said it was either Russia using it themselves or that it had given its chemical weapons to a third party to murder a British citizen, the latter being highly unlikely given the nature of this weapon. So,
like I just said, Zeke, we stand with our ally, and we certainly fully support them and are ready if we can be of any assistance.
Okay, so that's Sarah Huckabee Sanders really refusing to echo what the Brits are saying at that time about this attack, which is really along the lines of like, are you a fascist? And it's, I am not a communist. So then about 3 hours later, we have Rex Tillerson being reported by the AP as saying that the nerve agent clearly came from Russia to the AP. That the U.S. has not gotten very far in improving relations with Russia, with Moscow. And instead, what we've seen is a pivot on their part to be more aggressive. And then this is what Theresa May had to say during that time as well.
It is now clear that Mr. Skripal and his daughter were poisoned with a military-grade nerve agent of a type developed by Russia. This is part of a group of nerve agents known as Novichok. Based on the positive identification of this chemical agent by world-leading experts at the Defence Science and Technology Laboratory at Porton Down, our knowledge that Russia has previously produced this agent and would still be capable of doing so, Russia's record of conducting state-sponsored assassinations, and our assessment that Russia views some defectors as legitimate targets for assassinations, the government has concluded that it is highly likely that Russia was responsible for the act against Sergei and Yulia Skripal.
Okay, now, for those of you who are living on the east coast of the United States, the UK is, 6 hours ahead of us or 7 hours? So let's just assume that she said that at 7 p.m. They did a late night session. It's still 1 p.m. here. It's 2 hours before Sarah Huckabee Sanders was even acknowledging what Theresa May said. Maybe they have different information. But 3 hours later, Tillerson said he seemed completely on board with what she was what Theresa May was saying. And then last night, Tillerson's on a plane coming back from Africa. Where apparently he had ate like a bad street food or something, supposedly. And he said, according to the press corps, Tillerson vowed that if the attack was sanctioned by the Russian government, it certainly will trigger a response. It was reported at that time that he told reporters traveling with him that it clearly came from Russia. It was really an egregious act, et cetera, et cetera. Tuesday morning, this morning at 4:11 a.m., probably right around the time that Saul was yelling for me, saying that he had to pee, Tillerson's plane lands in Washington. There's no...
I was going to say, you trying to link those events?
That's a coincidence.
Okay. All right. I don't know what patterns you're seeing.
And then Tuesday morning at 8:45, Tillerson finds out probably from Twitter that he's been fired.
Now, well, yeah, we got this sound, but it should, I guess it should just be noted though, and this doesn't, I mean, it all works with this administration, is like all of this is happening, and there is this sort of odd Russian theme. Mike Pompeo is ultra hawkish against Russia. I know we'll get to that.
We'll get to that in a second.
Not just in general, like Russia specifically.
Here is Trump saying that maybe the facts aren't straight about what's going on with Russia this morning.
Yeah, as soon as we get the facts straight, and we're going to be speaking with the British today, we're speaking with Theresa May today, and as soon as we get the facts straight, if we agree with them, we will condemn Russia or whoever it may be. But I have not spoken to her. I'll speak to her sometime today.
Well, he's being very extra cautious, right? Isn't he? I mean, that is highly responsible. As soon as we get the facts straight, if we agree with them.
All of a sudden, he sounds like Obama.
Right, exactly.
Bizarre.
Very, very.
I like to know everything before I make a comment. I
don't want to make a comment.
All evidence in front of me.
Good guys on both sides. There was good guys on the getting gassed side, good guys on the gassing side. Both sides.
He was a brave decision to defect, and the Russians were justifiably upset that he did defect. Speaking of which, Mike, can we put deadly nerve agents at bars, please? Why did Russia get to do all the fun stuff? We have to be so discreet. We can only kill people in brown
countries. Is Carter
countries.
immune or something?
Yeah, what's the matter? Why can't we just kill Obama? We could kill kids. Why can't we kill Barack?
So the the fallout from Tillerson being fired is there's a couple of things that we can anticipate. The probably most important issue surrounding Tillerson's firing is that we will not have access to oil and gas reserves around the world. No, that's not. Well, sort of. There is reason to believe that Tillerson was a moderating force within the administration in terms of the administration's perspective on the Iran deal. Because there's a lot of players that the Trump administration, broadly speaking, seems to be, I don't want to say in cahoots with, but yeah, in cahoots with. We know that Kushner has had some deals with the UAE, and certainly Nikki Haley also is on the sort of the Saudi, UAE, Israel axis.
Always Israel.
And so Tillerson was it's hard to say this, but a voice of reason within the context of the perspective on the administration's relationship with the Iran deal. And here is Donald Trump hinting at this.
Rex and I have been talking about this for a long time. We got along actually quite well.
Pause it. I just want to remind you, I think Rex Tillerson was reportedly referred to Donald Trump as a effing moron. Now, to be fair, it seems like 90% of the cabinet also referred to him in that way, but I'm quite sure that that also Tillerson did.
But we disagreed on things. When you look at the Iran deal, I think it's terrible. I guess he thought it was okay. I wanted to either break it or do something, and he felt a little bit differently. So we were not really thinking the same. With Mike Pompeo, we have a very similar thought process. I think it's going to go very well. Rex is a very good man. I like Rex a lot. I really appreciate his commitment and his service, and I'll be speaking to Rex over a long period of time.
Over a long period of time?
Yeah, over a long period of time. Did you catch? I like the verbiage. I would either break it or do something.
Right. So that's a little hint that at least the Iran deal is in trouble in this context. And
that was, I'm sorry, I just need to say, that was the one global reason. Like I could table everything else, and I mean, if you were really fully arguing it, you wouldn't. There were other areas that were important too, but like stipulate horrible Clinton foreign policy on nearly everything. That was the reason right there. And Tillerson, of all people, was the only person. I mean,
you're talking about respecting the Iran
deal, upholding it.
So. That is probably, and I don't, off the top of my head, there is a provision in the Iran deal where the president has to reaffirm every, I think, 90 days.
Every 90 days. This has nothing to do with the actual deal. Congress threw it in because they basically thought they would use it to humiliate Obama and then Clinton every 90 days. To be like, see, you're co-signing that Iran's the best place in the world, but now under Trump it becomes a different thing.
Right. And so it's unclear what happens next but I would imagine sometime in the next 60 to 90 days. I don't know when that comes up again. They're going to use that as a pretense to begin to assault this deal. And when you have, I mean, let's face it, we have a big election today in Pennsylvania. It's not big insofar as Conor Lamb is going to be our favorite congressperson. It's not even big in terms of the Democrats taking control of the House, because I think this district is gone in the fall. What it is going to be is it is going to shape a certain media narrative. And if Connor Lamb wins in an R+11 district, in a district where Donald Trump won by 20 percentage points, where Donald Trump visited, where Connor Lamb, and this is important, has been attacking Paul Ryan, where the Republicans' attempts to run on the tax deal was abandoned 2 weeks ago because it wasn't working. The question is, where are Republicans going to go after this? Where do they hide? If Paul Ryan is shown to be toxic in this district, if Donald Trump is irrelevant in this district, I think their usual go-to is going to be either be afraid of black people or be afraid of Muslims. And the Iran deal would give them something for that. I mean, that's one concern.